With
Hello.
team news, first of all, for the game.
Sorry? Team news?
Yeah, any injury?
From the last game, no injuries from the game. Yesterday in training, Dombele injured. I don't think he will be selected, but we have another training session. Dele Alli maybe training with us in the afternoon, but I also don't believe that he can be. So Serge Aurier, of course, a big question mark in this moment. A part of that, not any news.
You mentioned Serge Aurier there, tragic thing that had happened. Have you spoken to him and do you feel he might be in the right frame of mind to play? Or too early to say just now?
You know, in this moment, what myself and other people in the club spoke with him is just about supporting a person that, of course, has a family tragic moment. A part of that is just him, his feelings, his way of reacting. Every person is a different person, and sometimes with similar feelings, people react in a different way. So we are going to respect 100% Serge decisions and no pressure from us. And this afternoon, before training, after training, we will have a better idea of what he wants to do.
How is he, Jose?
Sorry?
How is he?
How is he? As I was saying, everybody reacts in a different way. Similar feelings, similar pain, but people can react in many different ways. So let's see.
Jose, can you give us an idea of what the win over Arsenal did for you and the players? And is it one of those big wins that you might look back on and say, you know what, that could be a turning point for us?
You know, normally I think that what, for example, I think was Sky that did it. A couple of minutes of some footage of our dressing room after the game. When I watched it, I felt that was really nice because was happiness, but was controlled. Was just a derby, just 3 important points, but no reason to be celebrating in a crazy way, which we didn't. And in this moment, I know it's a London derby, it's a North London derby, it's Arsenal. I know all that, and we showed that during the game. But now, doesn't mean much if we go to Newcastle and we lose there. Doesn't mean much. So we are okay. We are okay. Of course, it's a good feeling. I always feel that you recover better from fatigue after a good result than after a bad result. Once more, we are going to have that disadvantage of our opponent played before us, but let's go.
You mentioned after the game about potentially qualifying for the Europa League and you're still in that race. That might have just become a little bit harder because of the decision regarding Manchester City and them being allowed to play in the Champions League next season. What did you make of that decision? Have you got an opinion on it?
In relation to the table positions and to the Champions League and to the Europa League positions, I don't have a vision because, you know, if you finish fifth, normally you don't qualify for Champions League, so you cannot finish fifth and be waiting for something to happen to go to Champions League. I don't think Chelsea and United and Wolves, the teams that are there, Leicester, I don't think they were just thinking about fifth. The same way the teams that are fighting for Europa League are waiting for 6, 7, or 8. Will be the 7th, will be the 8th. I don't think at that level is nothing to comment. It's just the table and no problem. In relation to the decision, I think in any case is a disgraceful decision. Because if Man City is not guilty of it, I think to be punished with some million is a disgrace as a decision. If you are not guilty, you are not punished. By the other way, if they are guilty, you should be banned. So it's also a disgraceful decision. So in any case, the decision is a disaster.
Can you elaborate on that? That's quite a strong comment you've given there, saying it's a disgraceful decision. Why do you think it's happened?
Because if you are not guilty, you don't pay. I'm not saying Man City is guilty. I'm saying if you are not guilty, you don't pay. You are not punished, even with a pound. I know that money for them is quite easy, but it's just a principle. Why you pay 8 or 9 million or whatever if you are not guilty? So if they are not guilty, the decision is a disgrace. If they are guilty, the decision is also a disgrace. Because if you are guilty, you should be banned from the competition. So my critique is not to Manchester City at all. I am nobody to criticize. I am nobody to know if they are guilty or if they are not guilty. My critique, of course, is for the decision power.
You think they've got lucky in that case?
No, maybe they are unlucky because maybe they don't deserve to be punished in one single pound and they were punished in 8 or 9 million. So maybe they were unlucky.
Just last couple from me, Jose. You talked about Ndombele perhaps not being fit for this game. He hasn't really featured for you since the restart. What do you think he needs to do? And can you reassure him and the fans that he is indeed part of your plans in the future?
Every player is part of my plans. Everyone. I don't give up on players. No player has a privilege. Every player is for me the same, and no problem at all. Every player is part of my plans.
Just finally for me, can you just put into context the job that Steve Bruce has done at Newcastle United under what's perceived to be quite difficult circumstances there?
It's difficult for me to speak about the guys I like. It's very difficult. And there's a guy that I like very, very much since my arrival in England many years ago. Played against him so many times with different clubs, Steve in different clubs. Met him a few times outside these match days. Spoke with him on the phone so many times because when he was at Villa, he had some of my players on loan. Spoke with him when I was United manager, and he was, of course, an important former United captain. Like him very, very much. I'm so happy that things went in the right direction for him this season, with a very stable season, a season where he can show that he has all the qualities to take the club in the right direction. Hopefully the takeover helps them to become even a bit bigger and a better club. I think everybody knows that through my emotional connection with Sir Bobby Robson, that Newcastle was always part of my life indirectly, because I worked for so many years with Sir Bobby, and Newcastle was really a passion for him, and I learned with him how to share and how to respect the people there, the mentality, what society is historically in Newcastle and around the Newcastle area. So a part of my awful record at St. James's Park is a club that I have lots of respect. I learned that from somebody. And I'm happy that Steve is doing so well, and hopefully next season you will be stronger and stronger. And because I believe that next season, no financial fair play, maybe a new owner will go there and spends lots of money and gives him even better conditions, because I truly believe that financial fair play is gone. So new owners, probably they will have this feeling of the circus open the door, so let's go and enjoy it.
You genuinely believe financial fair play is finished now after this week?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Darmish.
Cheers.
George from BBC 5 Live. George, are you there? There you are.
Yeah, hello, Jose. Jose, do you think Man City have really, they've got away with it then, haven't they? And this is going to open the floodgates in the future to clubs just to go out and spend fortunes on players?
Maybe they are a victim. Maybe they did nothing wrong and they are a victim of paying so many millions for nothing. Maybe they are the victims.
And just the last one from me, just why have you struggled as a manager at St. James's Park? Why has it been your bogey ground, so to speak?
I have no idea. I won there in a cup match. I think it was extra time, Frank Lampard goal, if I remember that. I think we won that cup. A part of that, a few draws, some defeats with two different clubs, in this case, Chelsea and United. I don't know. I love to go there. This time, without the fans, I will not love so much, but I love to go there and to feel such an amazing atmosphere that they always have. I think it's quite normal when a big team goes there. Newcastle fans to be supporting the team in a special way. I really don't know. It happens. There are some other opponents where the record is incredible, like for example against Arsenal, against Newcastle away for some reason. But I don't care. Doesn't influence me. Doesn't make me think that tomorrow we are not going to win just because of my record. It's just a negative record. I really don't care.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
George.
you.
I'm conscious of time, so we're going to finish with James at TalkSport, then we will go to Vicky at PLP and finish with Jack Pittbrook. So, James, do you want to...
Hi, Jose.
Your questions? Thank you.
Jose, on the topic of financial fair play, do Spurs need there to be a strict form of it to be able to compete with the likes of Manchester City and the likes of the top established sides in Europe?
You know, Spurs is Spurs, and I don't think Spurs change his mentality that in many aspects is more than correct. I'm happy with the way we think here, and for me that's just it. I think it's going to be the end of the financial fair play because there is no point. And I repeat, that's the only thing that I repeat because it's clear in my mind. If City is not guilty, the decision is a disgrace. If City is guilty, the decision is also a disgrace.
Does there need to be financial fair play?
In this way, no.
In what way would you like to see it?
In the proper way. I would like to see City considered not guilty and don't pay one single pound, or to be considered guilty and to be banned. But in this moment we are speaking about Man City, but in the past other clubs were in a similar situation, and you know the results of it. So I think it's better to open the circus door and let everybody enjoy and go inside for free, come out, go inside again, do it with freedom.
Do one more, James, and I'm going to move on to Vicky, okay? Thank you.
And just finally from me, Jose, you said earlier that you'd never give up on a player. Danny Rose is ineligible. He can't play against Spurs tomorrow. Do you see a role for him here at this football club? Have you made a decision on that yet? I know you said you'd wait until the end of the season, but with such a short gap between seasons, have you had to make a decision on that already?
No, not decisions made. To be honest, since he left, didn't speak with him. His feelings are important. His happiness is important. Steve Bruce and Newcastle, I think they also deserve to have an important word on this situation. My club, Mr. Levy, the player is our player, and he has contract. So I think everything is open, and of course we are on this for a couple of more weeks, 3 more matches in a couple of more weeks, and after that, plenty of time to make decisions.
Thanks, Jose.
Thank you.
James. Vicky, PLP. Hi, Vicky.
Hi, Jose. Good to see you. Just a couple from me. There aren't many sides in the Premier League that aren't either still fighting for Europe or fighting against relegation, but you played 2 of them in your last 3 games in Newcastle and Crystal Palace. Just wondering how much of a positive could that be, playing sides that relatively have little to play for compared to most other teams in the Premier League?
Did you watch United against Southampton yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
One team was playing for Champions League, the other one, in your words, were playing for little. But in football, there is no little. Football match is football match. Everybody wants to win it, and I think Southampton was a great example of that. They played so well. They fought for a result that they don't need to reach any objective. But the nature of the game is you always try to win matches. So, and sometimes it's even worse because sometimes there is no tension. People is relaxed, doesn't feel any kind of pressure, and sometimes they get even better performances. So on Newcastle and Palace, I look at them and I see 2 teams with quality, 2 teams with the most experienced managers in the Premier League, and I see 2 very difficult matches for us.
And just finally, I was just wondering if Ben Davies has been leathering a few in training, given that brilliant effort against Arsenal. We know that he doesn't score that often, but what a hit that was.
What a save. I think amazing save by the guy. Martin is just a little touch. He's playing so well, to be honest. And an amazing save, but fantastic strike. And I have to admit a little bit of a surprise for me. I wouldn't feel that Ben is this kind of left wing back that strikes the ball so well. What I love in him is that I always know how he's going to perform. He's so stable. He's so compact that I really like to have that feeling. But he goes well forward. He's a good crosser of the ball, and that shot would be the goal of his career, I think.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Vicky, okay, we're going to finish with Jack Pitt-Brooke from The Athletic. Jack.
Hi, Jose.
Hey.
If it's time to open the door for spending and no more FFP, does that mean that only the rich clubs, like City, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, can win the league, and a team like Tottenham can never realistically get there?
I don't want to say that.
But it makes it more... It will make it harder, won't it, for teams who are not the top?
But this is the way it is.
Any more questions, Jack?
Well, one more on that.
Last one. Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Do you?
Last question.
Yeah, but do you think that the geography, like the Premier League, will change now if everyone gives up on FFP and the rich get richer and everyone else stays the same? Well, the rich
Why?
spend more.
Why the same?
Well, because if City and Chelsea aren't constrained, if City, Chelsea, and the rich clubs are not constrained by FFP, then they can spend whatever.
Which clubs? Why?
If you say this, it's the circus door is open, and City don't have to meet FFP and can spend what they want, then presumably they will be even stronger, both in absolute and relative terms, compared to all the teams who don't have so much money. That's just my theory.
And if a billionaire wants to buy a small club and be free to buy the best players in the world.
Oh yeah, that's the only alternative.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Right, guys, that concludes the broadcast part of the press conference. We'll move on to the written section now, which is embargoed till 10:30 tonight.